everybody in DBDLeague. Prion here. I'm going to be casting the last game of the day for you along with Zach, guy that I have casted with a couple times now, a good partner. And we are going to be casting for you Severance versus Eternal. It's going to be a really good game. Severance has been making quite a run through this tournament as an underdog team, really overperforming, and I personally can't wait to see if they continue that streak today. It is going to be the rematch that they've been waiting for. They really did put Eternal on the ropes the last time these two teams met, but Eternal was able to pull it out in the end. So, Zach, it's good to have you here. And would you like to introduce the sets for chat?
Yeah, absolutely. And nice to see you again, Prion. I believe our first time casting was this game at the start of the playoffs. So nice to be casting the same matchup and a lot higher stakes this time. Of course, the builds were locked in roughly about 45 minutes ago. Of course, because the winner was determined today, while the matchup was determined today. So coming in first, we have Severance picking Xeno, which I want to say Prion is a bit unexpected, a killer we've not seen too much, and I don't believe a very strong performance on the killer throughout the tournament. So I'm really eager to see how this first set pans out. Of course, Xeno, very strong killer in chase, but these teams, they know how to play around it. Very, very difficult to tell how it's going to go. What do you think?
The Xenomorph is kind of a interesting set in theory, but I think it ends up being a little bit different than that in practice. The Xenomorph is extremely good in chase, but only when she is close up on survivors in the range of that tail attack. And survivors at this level are very, very good at keeping and holding their distance, to the point where the Xenomorph will have very limited opportunities to actually even be in tail attack range. And it actually, I've just been told by one of our stat wizards, Toby, that Xenomorph is currently one of the worst killers in all of DBDLeague, only averaging 5.5 stages with no generators defended in 6 games. So that's kind of what I was going towards with my analysis here, is that these survivors are so good at keeping distance that the Xenomorph is almost never even in tail attack range without a pallet being pre-dropped on her head.
Yeah, I remember my
That's not
first.
even to mention the flame turrets.
Yeah, I've seen 2-stage, 1-stage games on Xeno, so yeah, definitely a weak killer as far as the performance so far this tournament has shown us. But I mean, from my own personal experience, Xeno's a very difficult killer to play against. But it's really hard to say. I'm not expecting many hook stages in this first game. But we'll have to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and let's quickly go through the other ones, the ones that are not Halloween sets, because it looks like the teams are just about ready here. So another quite interesting point is that we're actually going to get Chucky soon, and I believe that's going to be in set 2. It's not something that we see a lot in competitive play, but I feel like you guys at home will all be able to empathize with what these survivors are going to go through, because Chucky is one of the most popular killers when you play solo queue survivor. Um, I am probably the biggest Chucky hater in all of North America, if we're being honest here. I think there is no killer in this game that is as strong as Chucky and as easy to play as compared to other strong killers. So what the pros are going to be able to do on that killer going to be very interesting to me. And then the tiebreaker, if we get there, is going to be the Dark Lord himself, Dracula, which is, I mean, we've seen it a couple times, but it's been fun every time.
Yeah, we were very excited, I believe, last time we saw Dracula because he is quite a new killer to the comp scene and one of the more recent killers added to the game itself. So seeing how those games turned out was all a bit of a surprise for all of us. The Chucky pick, I want to say, is very interesting because I feel like he's quite map dependent on those indoor maps with the stealth and the slice and dice, catching people off guard. On the more outdoor maps, you're not really able to do that. So, expecting, I don't know, a map like Larry's or Hawkins to really give the advantage there. Of course, we don't know until we load in. But yeah, we'll see. I think that our first two sets are going to be quite interesting, and I think a good contest, especially with the stakes so high.
Yeah, and one more interesting bit of information from our stats wizard, as the teams are starting to load into the game now, is that Eternal is the team that has played Chucky the most so far with 2 picks, and they have won both sets in 4Ks, with 2 gens remaining.
Yeah, definitely a comfort pick for them then. Going into this set, we're just loading in now. And yeah, the Xenomorph, we'll see how it goes. Very strong teams, both sides. Severance, of course, making a run through the losers bracket. Very strong defeat, victory against Oracle. I think it was last weekend, 3-0. And Eternal only dropping 1 game so far this tournament against Calamity, which I believe was a tiebreaker, 3-2 in favor. And we see the map here is Rotten Fields. Very interesting, very small map.
Yeah, that is a strange pick for Xenomorph, in my opinion. Footsteps already found by Ward, coming out of the gate fast here, and we see pallet already dropped. Not surprising at all. But you know, actually, I think I'm starting to see the appeal of the Rotten Fields pick here from Severance, because they want to pre-drop these pallets against the Xenomorph. As you see, the Shack pallet immediately dropped. But Rotten Fields is one of the maps with the least pallet, like the lowest pallet count in this entire game, Zach.
Yeah, it's a small map as well, so not much time spent in tunnels to get around the map too. So as far as map strengths go, definitely something in favor of Xenomorph. I think we've seen, I can't remember, it's records, well, Autohaven, I believe it's been the map of choice. A couple of Suffer pick games. And yeah, I don't know, as far as this map goes, definitely something that's going to give him the opportunity he needs for a good result. It's the first chase.
First hit already came in there. Did activate Blood Favor and forced Spitz to go away from that window tile, but the flame turret actually came in and he missed the tail attack due to Dan distracting him, knocking Ward out of the crawler mode, not having any access to the tail for a good amount of time. But he's going to just kind of walk Spitz down here in the other side of the map. And you know what, Zach? It feels like half of the pallets have already been cleared from the map.
Yeah, we saw Blood Favor blocking the cow tree, so I believe that was dropped. But Shack's gone, and a few strong fillers in the surrounding area have gone too. Cold Wind, honestly, not the best filler tiles. There are a few high loops where you can avoid that tail attack, but most of them are really just unsafe. So I feel like the game's going to be determined by the first few chases that we see, and seeing how long they can hold on to the resources of the map, to be honest, Prion. So as we go further and further into the game, it's definitely going to see, it's going to lead into walks, more downs. He spots down that cow tree, and Unhook comes through onto Spitz, so it's just going to make his way back into that area. See if they can catch him running away. The reset already comes through. Quite a fast reset, and sees Zaka, the unhooker. Also the Deliverance player, so gonna have that resource to use when this chase comes to an end. Another gen popping there in the background, and pesky little turret there getting in the way of the killer. Zaka just holds W over there to that filler. Of course, Xeno very fast in his M2 form, and just gonna play this, trying to get that hit through the window, but not quite succeeding. Zaka playing this really well, and trying to get these cheeky ego shots at the window, not quite working out.
Zaka even gets the slow vault there. This window is not very strong, and he even misses an M1 lunge there. Ducks under the tail attack as well. Amazing chase coming in from Zaka here, but definitely a bit of a misplay from Ward so far. I'm not sure why he kept going for the prediction on that window. That was another flame turret there, and there's another one around the shack here. Team Eternal showing off their team play here so far. They're making up for the lack of pallets on this map in general, with an abundance of flame turrets around every loop that the survivors want to be running on. Zaka now going to this long wall jungle gym that doesn't have a pallet anymore, Nice fast or nice medium vault there on that window. Trying to maybe bait a tail attack prediction, but not going to fall for it is Ward. It does dodge out on that tail attack though, and he makes it over to this filler with the hay bales. Zaka wasting so much time here now. His pathing's so good. He's got the check spots. He actually, right as I say that, runs straight back into Ward. Only one gen remaining though. Team Eternal has really come to play today.
Yeah, and I think Ward's impatience with the tail attacks and just trying to go for them has cost him so much time in that chase. Of course, Zaka playing the chase at the filler tile really well, but this is really the downfall of the killer is when you don't get those M2s. The cooldown on that is so strong, and it allows the survivors to make distance and get to even stronger positions. So that chase really snowballed the game, I think, and really well played from Zaka. And you see the deliverance coming through. So that pressure from all of that long chase has just disappeared. So this is looking quite rough for Ward and Severance right now.
Yeah, the immediate deliverance from Zaka has gotta hurt as time is running out for Ward here. He still does have Noed in his back pocket, but he needs to find something before this final generator pops. He is going to spot Kexo here, a potential fresh hook, but he knows already that Kexo is playing around this flame turret and he just doesn't seem to want to deal with it. Finally is going to hit it with the tail attack there, but that's going to give Kexo some distance over towards the harvester area. He's going to eat a tail attack, but guess what? There is another turret there. And this time, he has to try to M1 it because he had just used the tail attack on Kexo, which knocks him out of the tail mode. That is really unfortunate for Ward. Now stuck as an M1 killer until he goes back into the tunnels, and Kexo has the safe shack window to play here. No vaulting perks coming in from Ward, so he's not going to be able to just kind of cheese this chase. He does have the speed from Noed, just kind of walking Kexo down over by this tile, and that's going to be the Noed revealed.
Yeah, and potential third fresh hook, third stage for Ward. Gonna take it. And I want to also point out that this map is a bit of a double-edged sword for Xeno as well, because it's such an open space. Very difficult to avoid the flame turrets as well. So Eternal using that to their advantage as well. Again, yeah, you know, it's just the way the teams play around it, and unfortunately for Ward, Eternal have put in a really strong performance. In this end game, I know it is still up, so be surprised.
Luckily for Ward, Noed is within sight distance of the hook, so I believe Kexo will likely die on this hook unless Team Eternal is able to make some sort of insane play, or Ward is just totally unable to look at his totem, which is right over there by those sandbags. So following some scratch marks here, while maybe wants to go for a healthy down while he still has the Noed up. Spitz, I believe. Nope. Dan is going to be the target here, who is actually a fresh hook. There's got to be a survivor on the totem, right, Eternal? If Dan is going to be out in the open like this, yes, the totem is gone now. Team Eternal able to cleanse that totem before the hit comes in. That's going to be Spitz taking a hit for Dan, wanting to protect that fresh hook survivor, and it looks like they're actually going to all be funneling toward the door now. They might just be leaving Kexo anyways. Ward still in pursuit. He's at this long wall jungle gym.
Yeah, Zaka zoned away there from the exit gate. Not able to leave with his team, but the team are still in the map, so not going to commit there. Maybe the team are looking to get as many stages out as possible.
They'd like to get Kexo off of this hook, but even if they trade it here, it's not going to be a better result for Eternal. Moonwalk there coming in for Ward. Not going to work as great pathing from Dan. He just keeps holding W away from that tail attack that he knew was coming. And it looks like the survivors of Eternal are going to leave the trial. Kexo will die on this hook, and that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages on 3 survivors for Ward. Definitely not what Severance wanted on the killer that they picked, but Team Eternal, they really showed up here. Great team play with the turrets. They were able to soundly defeat Ward here. Now all they need to do is come back strong with their killer.
Yep, even with a potentially stronger map for the killer, still the sort of average result that we've seen so far throughout this tournament. So both sides playing well. Unfortunately for Ward. A lot of time wasted there in the mid game on that chase with Zaka. Lost him a lot of pressure and gave Eternal the chance they need to just really get those gens done. We are going to be right back to see the return fixture after a short break.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Rotten Fields here, and we now have Nightlight on the Xenomorph. He is needing to get to 6 stages, or 5 on 4 survivors here, as he's already found some footsteps here in the tunnel system. Comes out of the tunnel there and finds some scratch marks, and that's going to be a chase already, and a first hit onto Ward, activating the blood favor for him. This is a much faster start than Ward had on the Xenomorph last match for Severance. Pallet is going to be pre-dropped, just like Eternal was doing last time on Survivor, but now Ward is going to be stuck at a TL, and that's not really where you want to be against the Xenomorph. Flame Turret, though, in the perfect spot, is going to knock Nightlight out of the tail farm.
Yeah, giving him a lot of distance there, missing that tail attack and having to take that second hit. Oh, trying to swing at the vault. I've fallen victim to that a few times, but Ward not going to fall for it, and it's bought him a lot of time in this chase, taking pressure off a little bit. Continuing to chase him whilst he is out of that tail form, playing some Myers. Really nice. And Ward doing really well there to buy the time he needs. Probably senses the power coming back soon, so going to drop that and leave. The power's come back, and there is a turret over here, so Ward again playing around the turret really nicely. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, landing the attack there, but not going to take him out of power. Decides to greet that this time, but does work out. Wins that 50-50. And yeah, wait for the pallet. Unfortunately going to go down. And a nice early down. Maybe not as early as you would have liked to have seen, given that first hit straight away. But a gen there going to pop, and Nightlight going to be hopefully looking for a Scotch hook here.
Yeah, it was a decent first chase from Ward. He just probably would have wanted to not give that first hit as fast as he did. Everything after that first hit was pretty good in favor of Severance, but now it's going to be Cartney found near the hook. He's going to be going for a 1-for-1 here. No, he's actually going to take a hit and run in the opposite direction. Ward still going to be up on the hook here as Nightlight continues chase onto Cartney. This is going to be one of those new Cold Wind variant tiles here as Nightlight moonwalks around it, and he's going to win that mind game onto Cartney. The check spots for this tile maybe aren't so figured out yet. We saw Zaka in the last match playing that tile so well, but Cartney goes down to Nightlight at that dropped pallet. In the meantime, Ward is going to be unhooked. No heal onto him yet. But Nightlight is now stalking the middle of the map, looking for more fresh hooks. Fresh hooks are going to be a viable strategy here, as we see a difference in the add-ons, Zach. And maybe a lot of you guys at home don't play the Xenomorph and you don't know the difference here, but it was double helmet coming out from Ward, which means that he gets reduced stagger from the flame turrets and also mangled on his tail attacks. As Ward, now in chase again, going to immediately drop that Shack Pallet. Good choice there. Doesn't have the Lithe available to use there. He's going to go back into another flame turret. This is going to buy him any time. That was a double turret setup. That's going to immediately burn Nightlight out of the crawler mode. And he's not able to... Oh, he just walks through the pallet. Nightlight not respecting at all. And it's going to cost Ward his life. Flashlight save attempt there. Not going to be successful. And quickly... Let me just finish the thought I had about the add-ons. The Mangled add-on is missing from Nightlight's build. Instead, he's using Lambert's Star Map, which decreases the range of the flame turrets. He's using 2 add-ons to decrease the effectiveness on the flame turrets. And according to Xenomorph mains, this combination of add-ons specifically means that you can M1 the flame turrets from their maximum range without getting burned out.
Interesting. It's good, especially when they play around those turrets so well. Being able to just sort of nullify their value is going to help, especially when the teams have good communication around the positioning of them. There's 3 stages on the board so far and 4 gens remaining. The gens really aren't moving as fast as maybe Severance really wants. And having such early chases there, and the M1 onto Cartney, who was lurking for the save, has really slowed down the game for them. So looking pretty dire. That is going to be fresh hook onto Henu. And Yeah, I don't see a way back really for Severance here. It's looking pretty bad.
Yeah, the generators are simply not progressed enough here for the amount of stages Nightlight has. I believe the next stage on the survivor that is currently fresh would be the win for Nightlight. Um, so Severance needs to play a completely perfect game here if they are going to take set one. Nightlight, he sees somebody over by that TL, but not going to choose to pursue it. Instead, going back to the hook where he knows that survivors are, since that unhook just happened there, and it's now going to be Ward and Chase once again, but he doesn't want Ward because Ward is dead on hook. Or maybe it doesn't matter because Nightlight is just that far ahead, and he's actually just going to get a free hit onto Ward. Severance needs to stop giving up these free hits. They're not holding check spots. They're just kind of assuming that Nightlight left and just getting walked into.
Yeah, we see the blood fever still up as well. So it's just whenever there's a chase, you've still got that to deal with. And giving up the early hits, proccing the blood fever is. I don't know, it's, I mean, it essentially is not giving Severance the time that they need in these chases. And yeah, it's just going to follow them around there. And not even to get the pallet save with the blood fever up. And that's going to be Ward dead with 3 gens remaining. So, yeah. Unfortunate there, and I believe that is at least the tie so far.
Yeah, so Ward dying there is the tie condition.
Yeah, and 2 gens popping in the distance, so they maybe had more progression than perhaps we thought. Prion, it did look very slow, but it looks like they had been working on them in the background. So at least, I mean, best case scenario tie condition, but they're going to need to play a perfect game from now on. That is not the perfect game I was hoping for, or they were hoping for. And as Cartney does go down, that's going to be the second stage onto Cartney. And this is going to be the win for Team Eternal in this first set. So congratulations to them, playing it really, really well. So very quick start to the beginning of the game. And Severance unfortunately going to be beaten on their own pick. So mindset going into the next game could be.
Quickly, could we get a production restart of the Discord screen share, please? All right, perfect. Looks a lot better now. Sorry for interrupting you, Zach. Just was told to do that by the production.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, what's going through your mind right now if you're Severance? You've been beaten on your own pick. Going into a Chucky set, which potentially might be out of their comfort zone as well, and a pick that Eternal's been so strong on. I think going into this sort of set, Eternal looking really good.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be tough for Severance on the mental front. Nightlight really dominated this Xenomorph set, and we were talking about the stats of the Xenomorph earlier. This is so out of the ordinary for what this killer has been doing so far in Hallows League. The Xenomorph actually, let's go back to the stats that I was given by Toby. The Xenomorph has yet to end a trial with any generators remaining. So if Nightlight is able to 4K1 here, that will be the first time that Xenomorph has ever actually prevented survivors from opening a door in general. So that just kind of speaks to how well Nightlight played this, and the fact that Severance is not really in a very good situation going into a specialty killer pick in the Chucky that Nightlight has not lost on yet. This trade is going to be coming in for Potato, and Potato is the final fresh hook. Going to secure that 4 fresh for Nightlight. The win has already been secured though, so it's going to be 1-0 in favor of Eternal. Yeah, Severance really starting to look like the underdogs here, especially going into this Chucky set.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of time till this game ends, but they're going to be looking for the best results possible. Already found a second survivor over there by the Harvester. Going to leave Potato on hook because he is free to do whatever he wants right now. Just going to continue chase over here to this TNL wall. Not the safest location for the chase given the power of that tail attack. But going to miss there actually. Nice crouch from Cartney. I'm going to follow around. The unhook does come through and the reset onto Potato. And the down is going to come there onto Cartney. as that is, I believe, Deathlook for Cartney. Going to be the second kill of the game. And they are just trying to work on this generator here. Not enough progress. Nightlight probably going to be able to stop this if he realizes the hook over here was by this generator. And yeah, there he is popping out of the tunnel. Going to continue chase onto the last two survivors. And yeah, it's looking like a very decisive 4K1. Very strong performance on the Xeno by Nightlight.
Yeah, and I mean, there were signs of life from Severance in this series. They did have some good setups with the turrets that were kind of hindering Nightlight and getting him knocked out of the tail mode. But in the end, they were just giving up too many free hits, too many trades on the hook, and the gen progress just wasn't what it needed to be. They did have good efficiency on the gens, but with the rate at which Nightlight was ending these chases, it just wasn't enough for them to match the result.
Yeah, and it really sort of snowballed into this really unfortunate situation where they're resetting and unhooking and not getting the gens done. Of course, they brought it back a little bit later when we saw 2 or 3 gens pop at the same time. That is unfortunately all the progression they did have on the map, so maybe from the team point of view, they just wanted to try and get those gens done to put pressure back onto Nightlight, but yeah, gonna be a down there onto Henu. Eruption applied on that from the distance, which I'm sure Potato went back to work on. And as we just see Henu die there, and Potato the last man standing for Severance, and Nightlight's going to be hunting him down, sitting there waiting for the hatch dead hard. Going to be beckoning him for the hits and closing the hatch in his face. And
actually gets the adrenaline instead. Very interesting play from Potato. Got the cosmetic dead hard into the adrenaline on the hatch, and it looks like a 1v1 is going to be starting at Shack on a map that is almost entirely devoid of pallets. Looks like there's one filler left here. Potato is going to instantly pre-drop that, and now he's really just trying to extend his 1v1 time. Wants to raise his rank on the ladder here against Nightlight. He's got a flame turret. I believe the 1v1 rules for Xenomorph do allow like one flame turret to be preset. But I mean, who would want to play 1v1 Xenomorph on ladder anyways? That would be insane. Now he's playing this filler pallet. Nightlight goes for a very ambitious swing, gets stunned. Potato now continuing to play at this variant tile. I really don't understand this tile, but he does break to the window and make that vuln. Nightlight now not moonwalking whatsoever. He's cosplaying the average killer that you play against in 2v8. No mind games whatsoever. No red light hiding. Just holding W forever. This Potato is going to eat a hit there. And Blood Favor is still up in the end game. That's got to be one thing that seriously contributed to Severance losing this. This is not a map where the totems are extremely well hidden. Some of them can even just be right out in the middle of the corn. So kind of crazy that Severance was never able to find Blood Favor. This Potato is going to go down and get moried by the Xenomorph here. And the Xenomorph is missing a head. Or something is very wrong with its skeleton here. It could be any number of spectator bugs, to be honest. But Severance going to go down 0-1 against Eternal here. We are going to be right back after a short break, though, for some extremely exciting Chucky gameplay. I'm not being sarcastic. It will be more fun to watch than your solo queue games against Chucky. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are on Dead Dog Saloon with Nightlight on the Tiffany in Eternal's pick of Chucky. Nightlight and Eternal have picked this throughout the tournament. Been a very strong performance, and to be honest, I have to say I was expecting a more indoor map, but Dead Dog Saloon coming through here, trying to hide in those bushes of the Tiffany, very hard to see. And we see a very early hit and early chase onto Heavy hit as he goes into main building, and a very, very early strong start we see for the killer of Eternal. Going to be dropping down, following across. New Bamboozle in play, not going to be able to block that window, but we do see 4 slowdowns in play. As the first down does come very, very quick. Oh, the pallet save.
Pallet save
Hearing
coming
those
in
shots.
from Severance there. Nightlight calling the bluff, saying, I don't think you actually have anybody for a pallet save, and Severance proving him wrong.
Yeah, very strong. Gonna extend the chase of Henu and deny that pain res, but gets that hit around the corner. That did not look like the, I don't know, bit of a progress hit around the window. It didn't look like it should have connected, but is going to eventually get the down onto Henu there.
Yep. Welcome to playing against Chucky, Zach. There are going to be a lot of those. This is already starting to look like my experience playing against Chucky. We saw Nightlight just kind of following behind Henu and pumping his power until he was just right up behind him and could not miss. To be honest, it should be illegal to actually miss with Chucky. It's actually nearly impossible to miss with that killer. His hitbox is the size of multiple semi-trucks. As Nightlight going to be proxying around this hook now, setting Eruption on these generators here. He didn't actually use a pain resonance there on Henu, so interesting choice there. Going to be slice and dice now coming out onto Potato, gets caught off guard by the stealth and is punished with a hit there. It's also going to be the mangled and hemorrhage effects onto Potato as Nightlight has the straight razor add-on. That's going to be the one difference between Nightlight and my solo queue Chuckies is that Nightlight is not allowed to run Rat Poison here like every single other Chucky in the world does.
It is the most frustrating add-on in the game, I have to say. Giving that aura reading on the slice and dice. I'm so glad that it is not being seen in these games. As he just get the hit onto H3 there earlier, not allowing for the unhook, and it's just going to warm the hook here with Henu as Ward tries to go for the unhook and get a trade, and that is going to be Eruption applied on those gens in the surrounding area, and may opt just to slug Ward and chase after Henu as the tunnel out target. Very safe position here in check.
And Henu is going to have functionally no exhaustion perk here in this tunnel out chase because he is the overcome player. It was a good trade from Ward, but because this is Chucky, like, where is he even going to go after he pre-drops Shack Pallet? There's not really anything that you can do to counterplay this killer except pray that Nightlight misses. And praying that the killer for Team Eternal misses is not a very good plan, is it?
No, and playing the killer very well on this map, I have to say. This is exactly what we've seen so far from Nightlight this tournament, especially on Tiffany, and not really letting any distance be gained. Unfortunate hit there on the water tower, not able to get through the pallet. McCartney is going to be safe for a little bit longer, opting to just leave. Instead, maybe thinking the progression on the map is a bit higher and wants to go for the pain res instead and get those no way out stacks up. But no, just wants to secure the injury and makes his way back over to the side of the map. See if we can spot a rotation from a survivor. But as they are all injured, this probably wouldn't be the safest unhook, so I would expect.
Yeah, I would imagine that Severance here might let Henu die on the hook in exchange for gen progress, as they are all injured. It would be extremely dangerous for any of them to go for this save against a killer that's undetectable. So Nightlight now going through the main building, trying to find a potential reset or anybody on a gen. He is going to find that this generator was completed here. A heal does come in on Cartney in the distance, and this is where the survivors were. Potato, not present though. Could he be? No, he is not saving Henu, as Henu is going to die on the hook. Potato means he must be working on a different generator elsewhere, as now the scratch marks lead into the main building, and that's going to be Ward up in the top here. I don't think Nightlight has enough distance on this power to get that down onto Ward. He's going to try to go for a mind game here with the stairs, and actually it looks like Ward is going to fall for it, and he's going to be going down here over by the lockers. Is not trying to lock her up, actually. It's just going to go down on the window. And this is the Deliverance survivor, though, Zach. So even though Nightlight was able to get that down quicker than we thought, this hook is ultimately going to be less meaningful.
Yeah, you see them getting back on their feet off in the distance, resetting. Sort of ideal scenario, really, after a teammate died, had that Deliverance survivor on the hook. So don't have to worry too much about him. Gonna let Nightlight get some distance before the unhook comes through, and so yeah, Deliverance going to be used. Smells the survivors over here in this area, sees some scratch marks, so knows someone is here somewhere. These dead dog saloon bushes are very easy to hide in, but also for the Tiffany, Is he going to slice it down a dice around that rock and gets the hit onto Potato? Sees a loud noise notification over at the main building. Information on the survivors is going to be important for Nightlight to really secure the best result possible, and just does not miss with these slice and dices. Very, very good stuff Prion from Nightlight. It's going to pick up Potato, and that is a fresh hook. So going to potentially be looking for the Scourge hook here, getting that pain res 2 stacks left, and another stack of no way out. Slowing the game down even further. So very, very good pressure from Nightlight after the survivors were able to get back on their feet. And yeah, just going to be
we're really starting to see why Team Eternal selected the Dead Dog Saloon here, because there's two things that you can do against Chucky. You can pre-drop a pallet, or you can just like pre-run from him extremely early. And neither of those things really work on Dead Dog Saloon because most of the pallets are unsafe and Chucky can just slide off of them, and the speed of his dash is just not reactable for the survivors on those small pallets. And you can't really pre-run either, as Ward is going to get mind-gamed with the stealth. Nightlight taking a very long mind game there, and it works out. Very unfortunate for Ward, but you can't really keep a distance from Chucky on this map either, because the distance between some of these sections of the map is too far. And Chucky's dash is so fast that he's going to catch you every single time, and then again, you're just praying that Nightlight misses, which is not going to work.
Yeah, and the walls are so high on these buildings, it's just so hard to mind game them too. I mean...
Yeah. So even if the Chucky messes up and loses his power and it's on cooldown, he can still rely on his small size to try to get a mind game, and it's still hard for the survivors, even when he doesn't have that dash. And that's going to be Cartney getting caught off guard by the stealth once again. Looks like he's going to try to trade for Ward. Should work there, but that is going to be another down for Nightlight, with still 2 generators remaining. Ward now the tunnel out, dead on hook. Nightlight now going to do the classic, just following behind the survivor and pressing right mouse button until it's impossible to miss. Actually misses though, so incredible play there from Ward, I guess, keeping distance. Nightlight is going to miss out on that power, and Ward stuns him on the wrong side of the pallet. What was that interaction?
Yeah, trying to combat those ping problems we see with Chucky, but is going to eventually get the down. I believe Ray mentioned it, the player curse. You are just expecting things to happen and the player saying, nope, not today. That is going to be hook onto Ward. Going to be the final stage on there. Get that kill. 2 survivors left. Cartney going to be the last fresh hook injured. And yeah, this is looking very good. Ideally, they probably want to get that last gen done, considering the situation that they're in. But that is, I don't know if that's going to be a scored hook there. Is he going to be able to get this done in time? He is not. So looking very much like a 4K2 right now.
The only possible play here now for Potato is to stealth past the killer and get this unhook while Nightlight is patrolling one of the generators. So he knows that Nightlight is probably going to check that gen, and it would be wise to not be near it. But still, yeah, okay, we can see Nightlight there. He's stalking through the bushes. Has not found Potato just yet. Good stealth spot from Potato here. Nightlight unable to find him so far, but he's actually just going to come right around the corner. Potato is found. This is going to be Nightlight securing a 4K2 here. If there is one redeeming factor about Chucky, is that it's really easy to hit dead hard on him, but right as I am saying that, Potato does not hit the dead hard on the Chucky. So caster curse there again, and that's going to be a 4K2 secured for Nightlight. Not surprising at all, given that it is Chucky and it is what Eternal picks.
Yeah, and very consistent with their results so far in the tournament. And interesting fact coming in from analysts in the background is that death on Ward was the 60th hook. 60th time he's been put on hook this whole tournament. The highest of anyone in the tournament so far. So Ward really suffering at the hands of the killers this tournament so far. And unfortunately, right there, going to be a very, very strong result set and putting the pressure on return fixture for Severance.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting stat, because does it tell you that Ward is getting like tunneled out of your game, or does it tell you that Ward is just playing so well that the killers are mostly ending up hooking him instead of his teammates. So I guess either way, it's tells some sort of story, but with statistics, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes which way they are going, even if you have a definitive number. So that's going to be a great result for Team Eternal. We're going to be flipping it over to Severance on the Chucky here. It's going to be very tough. They need a 4K3 to even up this match, but don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after we flip the sides. Welcome back, everybody, to the Dead Dog Saloon. Here we have Ward on the good gal here, needing a 4K3 to even up this series. It is not going to be easy for Severance here. So we have Zaka, Dan, Kexo, and Spitz on the survivors here. Not the kind of team that you want to be going against if you need a 4K3. Very tall order for Ward here, as he's already scouting the generators that are not blocked by Corrupt Intervention. Interesting build here with the Blood Favor and the Pain Resonance. Unfortunately, does have the Noed, which he's not going to be able to use here. Goes for a Vault there with the power, not going to work out. He's just going to resign himself to breaking the door here, giving Spitz on the Yoichi a little bit of distance.
Yeah, gonna need, I think, a very strong early game to have a chance at really achieving that result. So we'll see how this first chase goes. And there's the location of the survivor here around this corner. And gonna mind game really nicely there, catching Kexo off guard. And it's gonna be the first chase of the game. Blood Fever activates, so he's gonna want to be rushing, or he's gonna want to get out of this area as fast as possible. And it's gonna run over to Shaq. A very safe position for Kexo, and gonna choose to mind game instead of breaking the pallet. And you can see him holding W there. Very, very nice read by Ward there. And going around the back of main building, and this pallet here not the safest, so I'm not really sure if Kexo is going to be very safe, but instead just running to the corner of the map. Realizing
when your win condition is only doing 4 generators for Team Eternal, going to the corner like that is almost always going to be a great play. I was a little bit confused why Kexo didn't just force the killer to break the Shack pallet instead of holding W away, but it looks like Team Eternal is absolutely committed here to dying in the right place, which is exactly what you want to see if you're a fan of Eternal. Generators are getting close to being done here, but unfortunately one of those that is being worked is pretty close to the hook. No eruption or anything like that for Ward, so that's just going to be a dry kick here. He's not really going to be able to camp Kexo here. He needs Eternal to start making some serious mistakes if he wants to get closer to that win condition, as one generator in the distance is going to go. Unhook comes in onto Kexo, and now Ward has a decision to make. Is he going to go back for Kexo and try to tunnel somebody out, or chase onto this fresh hook? And it looks like that decision has been made for him. That was a very quick heal from Team Eternal.
Yeah, finding a second chase onto Dan. Also have his healthy right now, so just negating that pressure. But really nice hit around the corner from the Chucky. Like you say, just anything hits with this killer. And Dan is going to be running over the main building.
That one in particular, that was a tragedy that even hit at all. When Ward started that dash, he did not even have vision on where Dan was. But Dan eats the hit anyways, because Chucky is just allowed to have everything for free, I guess. So Dan, now going into the same area that Kexo went down, is going to go to the same corner that Kexo went down in as well. So plan is clear from Team Eternal. And we're now going to have Zaka with Will Make It and Deliverance stealthing near the hook. The generator at the main building was done, and survivors elsewhere on the map are working on 2 generators. Not a single generator can be done if Ward is to meet this win condition here. And with a Will Make It Deliverance survivor stealthing in the main building, it is already seeming like this game is slipping away from Severance.
Yeah, they're just running to the furthest point away from the gens. And Chucky is a 110 killer, so one of the slower killers in the game, so not able to traverse the distance. Just walking, gonna need to rely on that slice and dice, but Eternal clearly, like you say, have a strategy in play here, know what they want to do and what they need to achieve to win. And yeah, 2 gens already completed, not looking good at all for Ward. And that is 3rd gen completed, so tie condition secured at the very worst. But he's going to need a miracle here if he's going to achieve this 4K.
Yeah, and Kexo in chase now at the main building, and I mean, Ward, he's trying to mind game the dropped Shack pallet there. It's just not going to work against survivors of this caliber unless, like, he's playing Nurse or something like that. Even Chucky can't mind game the dropped Shack pallet without abusing some sort of bug. I know there was something like that a few patches ago where Chucky could just, like, hold his slice and dice infinitely, and that's going to be a down onto Kexo. That one wasn't as bad as it looked because that was a medium vault out there from Kexo, but the generator is going to be completed. That is going to be Team Eternal securing the win in the Chucky set as we predicted. In fact, the fifth and final generator is about to be done as well, so Eternal is going to be getting outs here almost 100%. Noed will come into play, but the result is already sealed. Eternal has won the Chucky set.
Yeah, congratulations. 2-0 secured for Eternal, and I have to say, very dangerous match point here going into the Tier 1 Myers set. So we've seen quite a few match points on this set. So, I mean, anything's to play for, especially with just the results we've been seeing. But yeah, very strong start in this match by Eternal. Winning on Severance's pick of Xeno, and then following it with a really strong performance on the Chucky. And yeah, I'd be surprised if the survivors stay in the trial, or they might opt to. Yeah, okay, so they're going to secure that. Congratulations for the win on this set by Eternal. And yep, Severance's backs are up against the wall going into this Scratch Mirror Myers set. Prion.
Yeah, and it's going to be, like you said, backs against the wall for Severance. They have come so far in this tournament, surpassing expectations, especially Ward on the killer up until now. He needs to dig deep and find some of that magic that he's had in Severance's last few games. It's going to be very intense. Potential for a reverse sweep coming if Severance can just wake up. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be going over to, I believe it's going to be Larry's for the Tier 1 Myers set. So we will be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys. Halloween action is coming right up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this potential final trial of the match. We have the Tier 1 Myers on Larry's Memorial Institute, one of our special All Hallows League sets with special balancing. Survivors are not allowed to run any perks this game because of the weak nature of the killer. And we're going to have Ward here trying to find a chase, finds it, but just decides not to commit because of that strong pallet there. And we'll see very interesting cosmetics coming in from the survivors. The camouflage cosmetic with the white body. Going to be interesting to see if it's going to come in clutch. But one thing I wanted to mention is that Nightlight on the Michaela. This is the first Michaela we have seen this tournament so far, which I think is very surprising, I'll be honest. As he's trying to find a chase, a hit, an M1. Yeah, very slow start to the game so far, Prion.
Yeah, and Team Eternal is very smartly not venturing out away from any pallets that they might find. Every survivor that Ward has been able to find so far as the first hit comes in has been sitting at a strong loop that they can just play forever against the Tier 1 Myers, who is so slow and has such a short lunge. As it's now going to be Kexo in chase, as he is the obsession, maybe starting to look for some play with your food stacks, as yes, one play with your food stack has been generated already. As Ward, he needs to find these survivors in more compromising situations than just standing at God pallets, because that is what Team Eternal is going to be looking to do here. He is going to now find Zaka here on the thing, and not going to result in a hit, though. Ward, he's not really committing to anything because he knows that Team Eternal, they're just sitting in strong spots, waiting to have vision on the killer, and that's exactly what you have to do against this Tier 1 Myers, because, I mean, he can be anywhere all at once, he can know where everybody is, and two generators pop at once. Communication from Team Eternal has already been great so far, and that's going to be another pallet pre-dropped by Kexo, and this is why we've seen such poor results for the killer in these Tier 1 Myers sets, because these survivors are just so good that they can keep track of him at all times and just stay on strong pallets as we see another pallet dropped by Kexo in this chase.
Yeah, and it's not ideal that Kexo is the one in chase, given that he is the obsession. It's going to be able to drop chase just there and get a second stack. But we see Zaka coming in for the protection hit, trying to prevent as many hook stages as possible. And there are just pallets and windows everywhere. And communication is what you need against a killer like this with such good stealth, because the element of surprise is really one of the ways to get results for this killer. But it's just going to walk around Zach and get the first down onto Kexo. So good. I'd say a good change of pace for Ward. He's going to feel real good about that first hook. And whether he opts to defend it there, we see Noed and No Way Out on his build. So expecting the gens to get done and potentially try and turn it around for a few more hook stages in the end game, if Eternal even let him. And gonna deny that unhook very nicely, using that M2 to get the aura reading onto the survivors as they rotate for the unhook. But again, a very safe position for the Fang there. And the last gen looks like it is about to pop. And endgame may start very soon. To two survivors in this area, of course, knowing that the last generator is being worked on. And yeah, it looks like Ward is opting to try and secure this hook here as potential first kill.
Yeah, and surely Team Eternal is going to be able to deduce that Noed is in play here. This is certainly not the first Scratched Mirror Myers set we've had, and most of them do choose to run that perk just because this killer is so weak. No Way Out is going to be triggered across the map, and now, hoping that Kexo will go to second without being saved, Ward is going to be extending away from the hook and going for a fresh hook in Dan. So Kexo is going to go second. Ward made the correct read there. Now Dan going to be greeting this pallet, probably because he knows about the Noed and the play with your food, but Ward actually swings through the pallet there and is able to get the down. That is a very good read from Ward, and if that had gone wrong, that would have been disaster for Team Severance. Now Dan going to be put up on the hook, very close to the Noed totem. However, it's not in line of sight, but the Michael with the Scratched Mirror can easily see the aura of any survivor that's trying to work that totem. But as I say that, it looks like he's going to be going away from that hook and looking for even more. Is this door open yet? It is not, and there is Kexo here, dead on hook, in the gate, caught, and he's going to go down. Not going to commit to that pickup though, because he wants the fresh hooks of Zaka and Nightlight instead. Those are much more valuable than a kill on a survivor that is dead on hook.
Yeah, absolutely. These decisions are going to be crucial in getting that best result possible in this game. Noed is still active, so he does still have that. Only going to be effective on Nightlight though, as the other two survivors are injured, and I don't imagine they'll want to reset into this. So we'll see how the survivor positioning in this end game is going to help Ward potentially get a few more downs. Kexo left on the floor by the exit gate, and does see a survivor here in TV room and someone lurking around the edge map. So unfortunately the stealth is going to come in and allow him to catch up to Zaka here. And is he going to opt to hook? He is going to opt to hook Zaka for that kill, I believe, because he did hit second stage. And Noed's finally cleansed, so no.
Zaka is actually a fresh hook here, so that is exactly what Ward is wanting. And now this might be something that he just maybe opts to camp, but no, he can't camp anymore because the Noed has been cleansed. The aura was revealed to the survivors, and they were eventually just able to cleanse it, finding it near the TV room. So Ward knows now that he can't camp Zaka. His lunge isn't long enough. He knows that the survivors will just be able to reset and come in for a double or even triple save. So he's going to need to find one of these injured survivors before they can reset.
It does not look like he has done that. Sees, I believe this is Nightlight, healthy on this pallet. Again, very safe against the tier 1 Myers, so be surprised if he wants to commit that. And no, he is just going to go back into that area, and the full reset does come through, so I would be very surprised if we see any more hook stages come out of this game, unless they opt for the trade with good communication. I don't know how they're going to be able to, how he's going to be able to prevent that. Yeah, just holding this hook, sees the survivors moving in. In an ideal world, Zaka goes to second stage here, but I don't think they're going to want to let him. Nope, the unhook does come through, and yeah, exit gates opened as they make their way over. So
really his only option here is to try to phase through Nightlight with the stock. If he doesn't have any stacks to play with your food, it is impossible for Ward to get any more stages here. He was only able to do that maneuver before because he had 2 stacks to play with food to get through the body block. Not going to be so lucky this time though, and that is going to be a 4 out with 4 stages for Ward. You know, a little bit better than some of the other Tier 1 Myers sets that we've seen, but still extremely beatable for Eternal.
yeah, absolutely. We've seen 0 stage games, we've seen 4Ks, we've seen 5, 6 hook stage. So it really does, I want to say, like, it can be very situational, some of these sets. Whilst it does look very weak to begin with, there are situations we found ourselves in where the survivors aren't able to get themselves back on their feet, and has led to some decisive results. But we'll see how Eternal play this in the return fixture after a very short break. Please don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Larry's Memorial Institute for what is potentially the final set of this series. We have Zaka on the shape with the scratched mirror here. He is needing 5 stages or 4 stages on 4 survivors to bring home this win for Eternal, and it would be a sweep. So a lot riding on this for Severance here. If they are able to somehow pull this out, they could be on their way to a reverse sweep. But we are already seeing the survivors stealthing on God pallets here. Immediate drop from Ward there. Smart, just like Eternal was starting to play in the last series, Zach.
Yeah, trying to keep themselves in as safe as possible position. He finds Ward. Yeah, and I feel like as the tournament's progressed, the teams have sort of found their feet with these sets, because at the start they sort of really, I mean, there's only so much preparation you can do, but we see the strategies come out, and just denying that Tier 1 Myers as much pressure and injuries as possible is the best way to secure the good result. And they are doing exactly the same thing that Eternal did to them last time. Going to continue chase onto Ward potentially. And interesting that he didn't go for the M1 there. Instead,
He's not going for the M1 because he wants to build play with your food here. You see Ward actually now choosing to give a hit because he wants to remove that play with your food so it doesn't affect his teammates. Ward he's been trying his best to walk and chase to not give play with your food, but I think now it's actually just going to result in him going down. Finds himself in a dead zone there, out of pallets, and Zaka is running Agitation Iron Grasp. Is this the first time we've ever seen Iron Grasp in Dead by Daylight League?
Potentially, but you can see him hightailing it to the basement. It looks like it might be the plan, Prion. Potentially.
And it looks like a hit is going to come in from Potato here. There's no Mad Grit in play, but that might be enough to get him off. And yes, Zaka is, I believe he dropped Ward there knowing that he wouldn't make it to the basement. So clutch hit comes in from Potato, and that's going to extend Ward's chase quite a bit here. The survivors now know exactly what Zaka's plan is. Pre-dropping that pallet in the TV room. Zaka trying to mind game it with the aura reading. It's not going to work out though. Ward sees it coming and is going to just hold W to the next pallet. Actually, he greeds that one, interestingly enough, and that's, I mean, he's just out of distance there. Not going to make it back to the filler pallet, and now there is finally going to be another down, and surely this time he's close enough to the basement.
Yeah, definitely makes his way in. You're not going to take that hit because it is definitely a hook here, and very interesting choice, I would say. Basement Tier 1 Myers. Zach has clearly got a plan here to play around the side of the map, but when you're the survivors and you know this, I don't know if it's really going to be effective a second time, but we'll just see how Severance play around it.
Remember that Zaka needs fresh hooks here. Just one kill, 3 stages, is not going to get the win for him. He needs more than just Ward, and now that he's not even camping the basement anymore, as Henu just doing the gen in his face. Very strong Gabriel there. And yes, I just got confirmation from production. This is the first instance of Iron Grasp in competitive DBDLeague ever. So now at 1 generator remaining, 3 survivors injured, and only 1 stage for Zaka. Severance looking like they might have a chance to pull this out, but remember, Noed is still here in Zaka's build.
Yep, and even if a kill comes through onto the Noed, he still needs an extra hook, I believe, to secure the win because of the 3 individual unique hooks we saw on Ward's T1 Myers. Farming him for play with your food stacks and spots out some survives. And this gen is very close to completion. And are they going to greet it? I don't know. It gets the down onto Cartney. He's going to kick that and maybe opt to pick here. I'm not sure, but he knows that they'll get that gen done if he leaves. And
he knows that the survivors have no perks here, so there's nothing that he really loses by waiting for this generator to regress a little bit before he picks up Cartney. So going to go for the pickup and the hook now. That's going to be his second stage, second fresh hook. Looks like Henu might have gone straight back to that generator, but yeah, he waited a little bit so that they weren't going to be able to immediately complete it upon the hook. But Cartney now on the hook. He's stalking through the library, trying to get a angle onto Henu here, and I mean, it's starting a viable path to victory is starting to show itself for Zaka here. He's got 2 fresh hooks, and then he's going to have Noed as well. So getting that result of 5 stages, all he really needs here is a fresh hook and next to the Noed, but actually Ward going to be going down on the pallet there, greeds it just a little bit too long, and he's going to be going down. That's going to be second hook onto Ward. So 3 stages now for Zaka on 2 fresh survivors. Significantly, going to be significantly easier for him to get this win con in the end game, especially when he gets the speed from Noed.
Yep, turning into a bit of a snowball here for Zaka. And we'll just see how Severance deal with it. 2 injuries on the board outside of that hook onto Ward. And so not the safest position for the survivors to be in, of course, with the communication over to avoid it. But this gen is getting closer and closer. He is able to get the kick and secure that progression, and the hook comes through in the distance, and they are just going to be playing lingo between these 2 gens because I do see quite a lot of progression on that far gen by the execute. They're going to tag on, and he is checking on that gen, wants to make sure that no one is on it. And yeah, ideally for the survivors, you don't really want to give Zaka any extra stages here.
Yeah, if they give him anything more before this last generator is done, then that's almost just game over for them. As Henu is going to throw that pellet, is going to be a forced break out of Zaka, and he's going to be possibly committing to this chase because Henu is a fresh hook. Now, if Ward were to go down here instead, that would not be what Zaka needs. He's looking backwards here, trying to generate a stack of play with your food, but it looks like he doesn't have time for that just yet. Ward trying to take this body block for Henu. Is this going to work out for Severance? If Ward goes down, that is not enough stages for Zaka. Henu, the fresh hook here, must be protected. Zaka forced to break the pallet, now running back through the TV room. He is able to build a stack of play with your food. He's now going to be moving at about 106%, just getting closer and closer here. He's actually going to leave again to generate another stack, and the Noed is already gone. Severance was on the Noed before the generator was completed, and it's already gone. Only 2 stacks of play with your food remaining now. This is so intense, Zach. Will Zaka be able to find this? Are they holding the check spots here, healing in this room?
Yeah, no. Oh, the heal just comes through onto Henu, so that's basically his win condition gone. So gate open, so I don't know if Ward goes down, like you say, it's not enough. And there's 2 survivors there resetting at the exit gate, so I think the Severance might have done it.
Yeah, if Ward goes down here, then that would be 4 stages on 2 survivors, which is just 1 fresh hook short of the win condition here. So if all of those survivors from Severance are going to be exiting out the door, then Zaka has lost this Tier 1 Myers set for Eternal. Incredible performance from Severance, I believe. I just got tagged in the production channel, so let me just make sure Okay, screen share restart. Just have that real quick. But yeah, great performance from Severance on the survivor side. That was an incredibly close game. 4 hook stages on 2 survivors, not what Eternal needed, and Severance is clawing their way back into this series, Zach.
Yep, showing their mettle, showing that they are not out of it yet. Their performance through the losers bracket this tournament has been incredible, and just showing like their skills. To be honest, really, really impressive showing. And that means we are going to go and see the next set, which I believe is the Tier 3 Myers on Hawkins National Laboratory, the second and final Halloween set of this match. And whilst we set that up, we are going to take a short break. Please don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this match. We have Zaka for Team Eternal playing the Tier 3 Myers on Hawkins National Laboratory. One of our special balancing sets. Just a reminder, if you have forgotten, it is Fragrant Tough Repair, so permanent Tier 3 Myers, and the killer must bring either Unforeseen or Trail of Torment as a perk choice. And we see the Trail of Torment on Zaka, so whenever he kicks a gen, that will be highlighted yellow for all survivors in the match. And whilst that is still regressing, the Myers will have permanent stealth, permanent undetectable. Right now, Zaka is currently trying to farm up for his Tier 3, and he's already reached Tier 2 and a quarter of the way towards Tier 3, so very early start from the stalk, and sees Cartney here. And really, for this set, you want distance, you want to break that line of sight to stop the Tier 3 getting, and essentially determines the pacing of the game. So quite a good early start here for Zaka.
Yeah, he's got great progress so far onto his Tier 3 for being so early in the game. Already a stack of Play With Your Food from hitting Cartney as well. And it looks like he's on Cartney again here. He's probably just going to go for the down, yeah. If you were given the choice between a early down and stacks of Play With Your Food, you almost always want to go for that down if it's given to you. And it was here by Cartney. So nice job by Zaka, already off to a much better start than he was in the last Myers game.
Yeah, and it's going to be a basement here too, so very, very unsafe location. Other survivors working on generators, and yeah, I'd say Zaka can be happy with that start, but not going to be able to farm Play With Your Food stacks whilst Cartney is on the hook. So we'll see how the survivors play around that on hook. Ward here playing safer on this pallet. Smells a Myers in the area, but he's in fact upstairs. So Trail of Torment going to be applied, so this is going to be potentially a chance for Zaka to catch him off guard. Sees some scratch marks going back up the stairs. That is going to be the survivor who was working on it. Jen pops in the distance, and yet Henry caught off guard there. Zaka following him upstairs. And the Trail of Torment value coming in strong. Unhook does come through. Unfortunately, Zaka is here waiting. And sees Cartney going to farm him for Tier 3. And I believe the Unhooker was still in the basement, but opting to go back upstairs to see if...
Very smart, actually, that the Unhooker stayed in the basement there, as it denied all of that stock progress from Zaka. That probably would have immediately got him the Tier 3 if the Unhooker had come up the stairs and just eaten all of that stock.
Yeah, definitely led to a snowball as well. Not ideal, especially so early on in the game. So one stage currently on board for Zaka, and very, very close to reaching that Tier 3. And we have seen these games really kick off when that Tier 3 has been reached. And that is really the priority here for Zaka, I think. Does want to find one of those survivors that he has not yet stalked. Going to be checking this gen, and it is going to be Swan here, giving him that Tier 3. And we still see the undetectable from that trail gen upstairs. So they've not managed to clear it yet. So he has found, and it has resulted in a down, found Potato, unsuspecting Potato on this gen here. Eruption applied on the gen upstairs too, and needs some scratch marks, so maybe try and greed for a bit more, but Ward reading it really well, not letting him get that down. And yeah, again, another potential snowball.
Now, did Ward mean to get into that locker there, or was that a situation of the locker is too close to the pallet? Something that we've seen on many other maps here. Oh, Zaka faking like he was actually going to go straight through that pallet here. He's carrying the survivor. Actually, Cartney with the dead hard there to avoid
Oh,
the hit. I mean, he could have just run away from the pallet, I thought. But that's going to be both of those survivors still standing. Cartney with the dead hard. Potato picked up off of the ground with the time that Cartney was able to buy. Throws the pallet on the wrong side, though. Oh, no. That is going to be a really unfortunate clip for Cartney, and that's going to be his second hook.
that's not good yet. A bit of a shaky situation there. Zaka mind gaming on the pallet with the survivor on his shoulder, and yeah, almost leads to a down, but does eventually get Cartney after that unfortunate little pallet pull there. Probably not going to be very happy about that. And Trail of Torment is still active. 3 injuries on the board. Ward was the deliberate user, so has used that. Safe resource. And yeah, 2 gens completed. Looking very, very shaky for Severance. I'm hoping they can get back on their feet to reclaim some of the pressure that Zach has put on them. Handing over that tier 3 so early on. And yeah, this trail gen's right next to the hook, so can protect the... Oh, never mind, the trail torment's run out. No longer undetectable. And opting to defend this hook because 3 gens remaining.
Eruption. It's going to be the eruption there that's right next to the hook. And yes, as Zach just said, Zaka is content to camp this hook. Not only is it an amazing location for him to deny the survivors from even getting close with the exposed status effect, it's also right next to a generator that's regressing. So really, really strong position for Zaka here. There's really nothing Cartney can do here to get off of this hook, and that's going to be a death at 3 gens for Severance. Really not what they wanted after coming back into this series with the win in the Tier 1 Myers set. So Zaka now stalking up the stairs, looking to go onto this upstairs gen. And that's going to be Trail of Torment applied to a gen that is going to be kind of hard to get rid of since it's all the way upstairs.
Yeah, he has been getting a trail onto that gen, I think 3 times now, so getting as much value as he can out of the park. And here's a gen being worked on. I believe this is the one that Henry was working on the Gabriel. Kind of find him, chase him around. Not the safest area, to be honest, to be chasing. And we'll see how Henry wants to play this. I wouldn't say that the progression's really what they want for such an early kill onto Cartney. So yeah, gonna get the down onto Henry. That is a fresh hook for Zaka. And yeah, the other survivors we can see with the eruption and the aura reading on those 2 survivors. So knows where all survivors are currently. So we might potentially see a snowball here, Prion.
I wouldn't be surprised at all, actually. And it's going to be Zaka now going over to this gen that had the eruption placed on it. He's going to see Ward in the distance. Not going to go for that kick. He wants to wait for the cooldown on his eruption. Potentially, maybe losing out on the snowball here if that gives the survivors time to go pick up Henu. But he's now going to be undetectable, searching for Ward here. Sees a noise notification over there. That means Henu has been picked up off the ground. Going to be going over towards the portal room now. And Zaka is looking like he wants to play this slow. Secure the best possible result he can get for Eternal. He's making a guess at where he thinks the survivors might be resetting. But he's actually going to find 2 survivors here. Even though the upstairs gen gets done, this is a horrible spot for Henu and Ward to both be in at the same time. They're not going to both be able to take this pallet vault, are they? They actually will make it. Missed swing there from Zaka. That's actually huge for these 3 survivors that are still standing from Severance.
Yeah, 3rd gen completed and 1 very close. So survivors further ahead than it looked. A bit shaky, but it seems like they got back on their feet, got the progression down on the board, and so Zach has sort of lost his momentum from sort of the early game, I would say. Severance survivors doing really well to combat that. And me picking this gen again as he just makes his way around the map to see if he can find someone. Does spot someone there going up the stairs. 4th gen pops there, so I don't believe that was the gen they were working on, or maybe. But yeah, the survivors doing really well. It looks like we might be entering endgame soon, with not as much progress as Zaka may have hoped.
Boy, and that is so unfortunate for Potato. He tries to grade the pallet, but just gets hit through the stun, and Zaka gets stunned on the wrong side of the pallet as well. That can't feel good there if you're the survivor on the other end of that. But nice read there from Zaka, guessing that the survivor would try to greed the pallet there. And that's going to be a basement hook onto Potato. Third fresh hook for Zaka. He's really starting to tick up these stages here. He's getting a better and better result for his teammates on Eternal. Ward now in chase. He has the sprint burst, but he waited so long to use it that it's not going to make him very much distance at all. There's no pallet there for him to use. He's going to hold W towards this one, but it's not going to work. Ward goes down. It's going to be another hook stage for Zaka, getting closer and closer to possibly even a 2v1 here. These survivors struggle to finish one of these last 3 generators.
Yeah, I don't believe they had too much progress on the board after that 4th gem was done. So the game slowed down for them a little bit. They had a basement hook and a very quick next down onto Ward. So the pressure's really on. They're not going to be able to work on these gens with all these survivors on the hook. And waiting out the endurance on Ward, but not going to commit there. As you see some scratch marks into this room here, it's going to be the Henu on the Gabriel, waiting upstairs with that balanced landing. The safest possible position for him to be in right now. And yeah, they seem to be playing it a bit safe, knowing the situation that they're in. Has information on roughly where all the survivors are, and Potato's going to take a chase here. Going to be mind gaming around here. No trail applied, so there is a terror radius. Not going to be able to catch anyone off guard. As he just sort of decides that he wants to check on the gens instead of committing to chase, knowing that there is one left. Doesn't want to let the survivors get to endgame. Blast Mine applied, gonna blind Zaka's eyeballs, and yeah, gets that Trail of Torment applied. So potentially going to be seeing a down here with that stealth applied.
Yeah, and it looks like Severance is starting to do a better job of playing slow here. They haven't been giving any hits for free, as I say that, and immediately Potato gets caught by the stealth. Oh, this is so sad for Severance. Up until that point, they were actually doing a great job of communicating as to where Zaka was. He was not getting any sort of free pressure or free hits, but now Potato up on second hook. Only 2 survivors standing here, and one of the generators is at about 60% progress. As we see Potato unhooked in the distance, and I believe it is this generator here that's been worked by Henu with the balanced landing. Surely he has it back online now, so this is going to be a bit of a waste of time for Zaka. He's actually going to be able to predict the vault there. Henu in trouble, and he is going to go down despite the balanced landing. What a read from Zaka. Able to predict exactly where Henu was going to go, so that the speed didn't even matter from the bounce landing.
Yeah, he was able to hold him there at that little drop down, so he wasn't able to get any distance or use the speed at all. Maybe would have opted for a 50 instead, as misses the swing onto the Potato there, but I said the Potato, but that is Potato, a player, not the Potato. My apologies. Gets the down, and going to be unhooked. That's Potato dead, so a 2v1 scenario against a tier 3 Myers. I'm thinking this is looking like a 4k1 here right now. They're going to need to ensure they are not found by Zaka if they want any chance of doing any extra gens. We'll just see how it transpires. As he finds Ward, that is unfortunate. Is he going to commit though? He's going to decide to mind
There's no way he'll commit. Yeah, he knows that as soon as he finds Ward, Henu is going to be working one of the other generators. So if Ward is in the portal room, then that means that he can actually commit his time here without losing generators. So Henu not going to drop down in the same spot as he did last time, where he was killed before, but now going to be the Trail of Torment applied. Survivors will know this, but they also have to work on the generators. But they can't heal because the permanent tier 3 is still active. And Zaka now stalking toward this other generator at the exit gate. This is a generator that is surely almost blocked by the entity, but he's going to find Ward here. Probably doesn't have much left to work with on the map. This is actually quite a strong pallet. I'm surprised this one is still up. Ward immediately dropping it, getting distance away from the killer. He's going to go out the door into the hallway here. now going back towards the portal room. That should tell Zaka that Henu is now working that second floor generator already if Ward is pathing toward the portal room. He's going.
I think he makes it.
Yeah, he does not make that against the extended tier 3 lunge, so that is going to be the eruption placed onto that gen and probably aura onto Henu.
Yep, securing the kill onto Ward there, and he is going to go on a hunt for Henu here. Has an idea of roughly where he is, and yeah, doesn't unfortunately get that gen done with the eruption applied. I'm just going to just play this as well as he can, take Zaka for the chase of his life. And yeah, I would say that Zaka decided to slow down the game a little bit. Once he realized one gen was left and just played it to the point of trying to deny that gen instead of committing the chases, really. So yeah, well done. Very good result. 4K1, not unusual for what we've seen so far with these sets. And I think Severance did well to get 4 gens done in the first place, given the shaky start they had.
Yes, we have seen better results on this tier 3 Myers set. We've also seen a lot worse as well. So strong play from Zaka. Team Eternal is going to be lined up to end this series here once they go on Survivor. And it's going to be all up to Ward to keep Severance in the tournament once again. So don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be flipping the sides, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Hawkins National Laboratory, everybody, for yet again the potential final set of Eternal versus Severance. And it all comes down to Ward once again. This chase starting on to Nightlight, and yes, he does have the balanced landing there, able to get away from Ward in short order there with that haste burst after dropping from a great height. Good job denying the stock already from Nightlight, breaking line of sight. It's going to be tough for Ward to get into tier 2 here, and if he's delayed too much, this game might start to slip away from him already, Zach.
This early game is going to be everything for Ward, trying to get that stock up as early as possible because he wants that insta-down potential from the tier 3. We saw Zaka last game, had a very, very early tier 3, very strong sword progression, and almost caught the way towards it, I believe, sort of roughly same pacing, so I'm sure Ward's a bit happy about that. Not able to get distance spits here from the Myers. And on a map like this, with a lot of different rooms and a lot of hallways, it is very, very difficult, or you can make it very difficult for the Myers to get that stock up, but catching spits a bit closer than he would have maybe liked has allowed him to get halfway towards that tier 3. Going to apply Trail of Torment and hopefully catch a survivor off guard here. Trail of Torment being one of the 2 perks for choice in this All Hallows League special sets on the tier 3 Myers. And as he makes his way upstairs, you see the Trail of Torment's gone there, and already the survivor has left the area or the Nightlight with its balanced landing. Going down.
And the fact that Nightlight is already gone there means that the survivors are communicating extremely well. As soon as Ward is off of vision of any survivor, Nightlight is immediately getting ready to use that balanced landing. It doesn't matter if Ward is even over by the portal room, Nightlight does not want to get caught on that gen. As long as Ward is not on vision, he's going to be ready to get away from that gen. So now he's going to be finding Dan here. This is a pretty strong room with 2 pallets that are tough to deal with. So good stock onto Dan there. Probably wondering why he can't stock over those boxes at us. Now he's getting pretty close to the infinite tier 3, as Dan will eventually have to run away from here. And yeah, that was a nice little spot to stock from there, as Dan almost completely has no more stock on him. So another Trail of Torment going to come out now, and now Zach, the tier 3 is 99.
This might be the perfect 99 I've ever seen on a tier 3. That is pixel perfect. So ideally going to catch someone off guard with that insta pop on the tier 3. Nightlight going to be using his balanced landing again, as we said. Very good communication from the survivors. Not leaving as early as last time, but yeah, pops the tier 3. Going to continue chase. No, I see some other scratch marks here, and onto Dan. And is he going to get that? No, he gets auto aimed onto the boxes. Not going to lead to a down, unfortunately. And playing this full attack in the room, but no, holds W into the corridor. Gem pop set in the background. We had a second one almost ready to pop. And that's going to be the eruption applied on that upstairs gen that Nightlight was working on. And a first down for Ward here.
Yeah, and that first down for Ward does come in right as the first generator is going to be done. So the Infinite Tier 3 is now available. Hook going to be placed in the corner over there. And not a single stack of Play With Your Food has been generated yet, Zach. And you know why that is? Zaka has been stealthing all game, and he's the one that did the portal room generator. So they strategically placed the Obsession in a place where the killer would definitely not want to go in the early game. And that might have contributed to Eternal having such a good early game like they have.
Yeah, not able to make use of that speed with 0 stacks. And I think Eternal are playing this really well. As Nightlight smiles something's up. Yeah, the communication coming through. The pilot's landing going to be used. And a bit of a rinse and repeat scenario with Nightlight here. The communication coming in. And that is Blast Mine in play there. You see this, the last second blind as we hand to the killer's POV there. And it's going to ideally want to... I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, Prion, but the survivors are doing really well to remove that Trail of Torment, not letting getting any value from the perk itself. And with the Terror Radius on show, that he's not going to be able to catch any survivors off guard here. So, as they say, that catches Zaka off guard on that pallet, going to get that second down.
He wasn't even undetectable there. That was just a normal mind game out of Ward that Zaka fell for. So that's going to be the second down there for Ward. Trail of Torment applied once again, but he really just wants to go pick up Zaka here, so I'm assuming that trail is going to be removed very quickly. One thing I want to note here, Zach, is that as the survivors are right back on that generator, is that Nightlight is using Rookie Spirit, which is a perk that you might not often see. You might not even know what survivor it's from. It is a Leon Kennedy teachable perk that shows the aura of generators that start regressing once Nightlight meets a skill check condition in the early game. So Nightlight is actually using this perk to call out exactly where Ward is kicking a generator while he's stealthed. So that might be part of why Eternal's comms seem so good here. Is that Rookie Spirit is an incredible perk against stealth killers.
Yeah, and also going to be calling out the gens that maybe have Eruption applied to them as well, as alongside that Trail of Torment. So, yeah, I think that everything's sort of falling into place for the Eternal survivors so far. Ward probably not getting as much progress as he wants. Very nice locker play there from Ward, but is going to get picked up, and Eruption does apply from those locker picks. So you can hear a scream off in the distance. I believe that was Zaka that we heard, getting the aura reading onto him.
And Eternals, they might be overcommitting to this middle generator here, as Dan is now dead on Hook. This is kind of a dangerous situation for Eternal now. They have been playing this a little bit slow. They do have 2 generators that are close to popping now, but if they're not careful, they're not going to be able to finish this middle hallway generator once again. It's blocked by the entity, though. So saving grace there in the form of the game design from behavior is going to prevent Ward from kicking that generator anymore. All of the Trail of Torments that he applied were pretty much entirely on that generator, so no more kicks allowed there. But if Dan dies on Hook here, as nice stun comes in from Spitz, another auto, if Dan dies on Hook here with 4, 3, or even 2 generators remaining, it's going to stall out this game very quickly for Eternal and make this very close.
Yeah, see Scratchbox going into the basement, so this is at the very least going to be a trade. Body blocking it down, trying to secure that kill. The 10 seconds of endurance. Is he going to make it, though? Not the safest pallet, and yeah, going to die on the pallet. There still is a survivor in the basement, and it's going to be Nightlight lurking there for that pallet save, but is he going to get it? Is he going to manage to get it? He does not. That's going to be huge, because this is now a kill onto Dan, and Nightlight slug next to the basement, so they're going to have a second survivor in that basement with 3 survivors remaining. So a potential chance to snowball here for Ward, and there's only 2 generators completed, so 3 gens left. Or they do manage to get the kick onto Nightlight, and it has been found. But wow, that was a very scary little situation that we just witnessed.
This is still a very scary situation, Zach. This is disaster for Team Eternal. What is going on here? Going for a pallet save against Infinite Tier 3 Myers? Like, That's just a free down, and then Spitz also just gets caught out and has to lock her up. Now, they have a few generators that have very significant progress, but with only 3 survivors left and everyone effectively injured, Ward is just going to be able to force trades over and over and over, as now Zaka goes down, is going to get put up on the hook, and this is starting to look like Severance might be bringing us into a game 5.
Yeah, the a couple of mistakes by the survivors has allowed Ward to get the momentum he needs to secure even the win. Um, yeah, the trade on the hook there, not great, and just knows where these survivors are as well. Nightlight can be balance landing away. And hook's gonna come through, but these aren't the safest unhooks. I mean, Trail of Torment's applied, so they're not gonna be knowing too much exactly precisely where the Myers is. And I think he wants to try and catch Nightlight here off guard, but doesn't seem to be able to do so. Blast Mine going to slow him down even more there.
Yet another Blast Mine from Nightlight. I think that's at least the third one this game, as all of these survivors are in danger, but all of them have a generator somewhere that has pretty significant progress. Zaka is going to be starting one that has barely anything. Now, Spitz going to get found, but he has distance, and Ward does not want to commit to that. I think Ward is identifying here that his win condition is to actually catch Nightlight or Spitz out on these generators, because he knows that these are the gens that the survivors really want to do. And that generator has got to be getting close to being blocked by the entity, as he's going to find the scratch marks of, I believe this is Nightlight, trying to get back up to that upstairs gen. He's probably already got the balance landing up, though. So, actually going to find Zaka over here in this corner as well, and he only has a pretty bad pallet to use. Ward, he doesn't want to go for the swing. Okay, he is going to go for the swing. That was a really dangerous commit there on that pallet, because if he did get stunned there, he would be stunned towards the edge map, giving Zaka the whole rest of the map. And Zaka is now dead, Zach. That is a 2v1,
Wow.
an Eternal. What are they going to do here? They need to finish both of the gens they are working on in order to bring us to a tie for the 4K1, but now Nightlight is stuck at this horrible filler window thing upstairs. Spitz is going to finish his generator, but Nightlight is now down. And if Ward is able to down Spitz here in any sort of fashion, that is going to be the win for Severance and putting us into a Game 5 tiebreaker.
Just amazing stuff from Severance. I don't want to call it too soon. I don't want to curse them, but unfortunately, we've seen some costly mistakes from Eternal here, which has led to this situation right now. And there is a Myers creeping up and has spotted out Spitz. So Spitz is going to need to go on the run of his life here to stop this. But it does not look like he has enough distance. Oh, the Dead Hard's going to miss. The killer misses. And there's no pallet here, so that is going to be it. That is going to be a 4K, 2 gens remaining. And Severance, Ward coming in again with another great result. Gonna take the set from Eternal, just putting in an absolute performance. And yeah, we're gonna see a Dracula tiebreaker, Game 5, ladies and gentlemen.
The insane killer results for Ward just do not stop. Severance mounting a potential reverse sweep here, potentially upsetting Eternal in their big rematch that they've been waiting for. We're going to be going into the Dracula tiebreaker here, 2-2. So much on the line here for the underdog Severance. Eternal wanting to keep their spot as #1 in the world as of recently. And it is all going to come down to that Dracula tiebreaker. I personally cannot wait. We see Nightlight getting moried for his crimes of abusing balance landing all game. Really amazing performance from Ward here. And now it's up to him and the survivors of Severance to really bring it home. Game 5 tiebreaker. You really can't get any more exciting than this, especially with an underdog against the #1 team in the world, Zach. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with the final and most exciting game of this series between Severance and Eternal.
Hello everyone, and who would have thought, based on how this game started, that we would be on set 5 this game. Strong 2-0 start from Eternal, but Severance have brought it back now to the tiebreaker on Dracula. And we see on Call Tower 2 how this match will play out. Dracula, very new killer to the competitive scene, has been played a few times this tournament already. And we've seen a lot of a lot of strength shown by the players so far. And a nice chase on to Nightlight here in the corner of the map onto the God Rock. Gonna zone him that side of the pallet and continue chase over to this 4 lane here. And he does get the down around the corner. Nice early down onto Nightlight here. And we'll see if this is going to be a Scorch Hook. Blood Flavor there. You can see very strong chase pack. Very popular so far this tournament. And Prion, a very, very quick down to start us off.
Yeah, Ward did miss a couple of those Hellfires there, but he is able to get that Pain Resonance Hook before the first generator can be doubled out by Zaka and Kexo. And you know, Zach, I want to bring some attention to the fact that Ward has now played 50 trials for Severance. He has played every single killer and every single survivor game for his team, and he has been playing better than ever. This guy has been playing out of his mind today, and now he's going to be trying to finally bring it home on the Dracula. For the people coming in onto Nightlight from Dan, though, taking advantage of the fact that Ward left the hook in the bat form. So now, will he be able to find Nightlight here? The now healthy survivor. I think he has spotted him here at this 4 lane. No, that's actually the injured For the People user, Dan, and he's going to actually make that pallet miss on the swing from Ward. He's now going to have to go for the Hellfire. Dan looking to dodge away from it, and he's going to miss. So Dan makes it into the corner of the map here, is going to go down to the wolf form and give up another Pain Resonance, but Zach, there is a strong chance that this guy has Deliverance.
Yep, quite often you see that first setup save being the Deliverance player, and there it is. You can see right there, top slot of the perks, Deliverance in play. Gonna wait for Ward to get some distance away before, as you see right there, unhooking himself. As Ward makes his way back into the corner of the map to find that pesky Deliverance player, sees him, Sprint Burst going to be used away from the hook. Holding the Hellfire here. Being a Hellfire Andy who we love so much and see from our solo queue games, but Wolf Form going to be able to finish down off there. And not opting to hook immediately. Maybe smells a decisive strike, wants to push the survivors off these gens. Understands that there is no Pain Res left on Dan to be used. But continue chase onto Nightlight, who is the other survivor who we have a hook stage on. Dan has been picked up off in the distance and is going to commit chase to Nightlight over here. See the fault back and has caught him on the right side of the vault, so that is going to be a down. Second hook for Nightlight here. 4 gens left, 3 hooks on the board. I think Ward can be very happy with the start of this game.
Yeah, especially the fact that the next survivor he found after slugging Dan was Nightlight, who already had a hook stage on him. So that's going to be second hook onto Nightlight. And yes, Ward correctly sniffed out that the Deliverance survivor also had Decisive Strike. It seemed a little bit too obvious. Very smart play there from Ward. Great game sense. Now, he has Nightlight dead on hook with confirmed no anti-tunnel. He's free to just kind of go around and kick generators because he's got Nightlight hooked right in front of the main building here on Cold Tower 2.
Yeah, and Blood Fever has not been cleansed as well, so still able to rely on that for the upcoming chases. As he gets a really nice dash there onto Zaka. Gonna activate Blood Fever in the area, and yeah, he's just free to apply this pressure as he likes. He's trying to get information on the survivors in the surrounding area and try and secure this first kill. An interesting point to note that this is already better than the last performance we saw on the Dracula for Ward. I believe it was 3 stages against the tunnel, but already showing us a really good performance starting out here. And that is going to be, I don't know if they want to look for a last minute unhook, but Ward is here to stop it. And a survivor dead at 3 gens, I think that Ward can be happy about.
Yep, so Nightlight is going to be sacrificed here, and Ward still has Noed in his back pocket. This is so strong for Severance and big trouble for Eternal. Ward has also just been lights out on these uses of the wolf form here, as Kexo is going to utilize that balanced landing to get away from the killer there, but that's just going to be more regression piled onto that generator that he's been trying to do for so long now. Another kick comes down onto this generator over by the main building, and there is a pretty devious 3-gen over here by main. Nice little triangle there for Ward to protect if he so chooses. Switches into the bat form now and goes around the back of the main building. Loses track of the survivor though. Maybe a little bit of walking coming through there from Zaka. Nice pathing. Able to fool Ward very nicely there. Gets some good distance away. Able to pre-drop the pallet now. But this car pallet is not exactly safe against Dracula. But Zaka, perfect vault there as he comes out of the back bat form and is able to avoid injury for now. Ward forced to leave after that great chase from Zaka.
Yeah, the pacing of the game's changed. First two or three chases came in very fast, and nice play from Zaka there to buy his team time. We see a third generator completed, 2 generators remaining. And as you pointed out, the 3-gen in this area, the resources are slowly dwindling, so going to be much, much easier to defend as the game goes on. But I'm sure that Ward's going to be looking for those remaining pain risk stacks onto these survivors. I believe it's Kexo and Zaka. Kexo going to be playing main building with the balanced landing. Very safe, but Ward's going to be finding Zaka here. And really nice hellfire running to the corner of the map. There is no pallet here. It was used in the first chase of the game. So this is going to be a very quick down onto Zaka. And there is a pain res critical.
This is a critical mistake for Eternal. Zaka goes nowhere with his overcome and actually runs deeper into the 3-gen to go down. So that's going to be another fresh hook onto Zaka in a very bad spot for these survivors to save from.
Yeah, absolutely. An absolute dream scenario for Ward right now. Dan, you saw there lurking at the 4 lane for the save. Kexo is trying to get this gen done, potentially breaking that really strong 3-gen area. And yeah, going to wait out this endurance. Is he going to get the down low? He doesn't. He gets auto aimed and pallet stunned. So going to buy him some time.
Zaka knows that he can only make it back to this filler pallet, and he's probably dead if he goes for the window. Kexo is able to break the 3-gen though. He has to go for the window anyways, but it's not going to work out. Zaka is going to go down, but the 3-gen is broken thanks to that fast pull from Dan. Able to give Kexo time to finish that gen that was over by the middle area, and now they don't have any gen progress, but they do have a great split, and still 3 survivors standing. Dan here, he cannot get found, Zach. If Dan gets found here, it is game over for Eternal.
Yeah, just want to very quickly ask production if we can get a restart on the screen share. A little bit of buggy Discord audio, unfortunately. It does happen, has happened a few times, but yeah, that's much, much better. And yeah, hook there onto Zaka. Second hook, and 1 gen remaining for the survivors, but as they were able to break that 3-gen, now going to be very difficult to defend. So maybe just wants to opt for the stages at this point, trying to look around to see if there's a survivor rotating, and does see Dan then, the distance running for the unhook. It's going to be able to get that there, blocking the window and run into this little tile here. Dan maybe looking to opt for a body block. As these last 2 survivors are in chase, it probably tells Ward that Kexo is on that last generator off somewhere in the distance. So could be looking, yeah, and smells it, heads over to the shack area to see. And yeah, a lot of progress on this gen. Does still have the no-ed, as you mentioned, to fall back on in the end game, and gonna see if he can find the Renato, yeah, as he runs away, paths towards the main building area.
Yeah, Kexo has no aspirations of stealth here. He's just going to hold W away from the shack. He knows that it doesn't have to be him that completes the generator. Using the balanced landing now to try to get away from the bat form. Going to work for now. He should make it over to this rock filler. Baits the Hellfire there, nicely done, and gets the double back as well. Very good understanding of the Hellfire hitbox there by Kexo. He doubles back as soon as he sees that break between the tree and the rock, because he knows the Hellfire can go through that little crack. So he's going to take an M1 here. But, oh, that's going to be Blood Favor activating. It still hasn't been cleansed. They should know where it is. It was over by where Zaka was hooked at the 4 lane. Now the wolf form comes out. Nice dodge from Kexo. That might mean that he makes this pallet. And yes, Kexo continuing to chase here. Dodges out on the Hellfire as well. Amazing chase so far from Kexo. He's not going to make that window. but he wasted so much time there. And it looks like Zaka is here maybe for a save, but also Dan is on the final generator. Pain Resonance might be coming in at any second here, though, and it's not going to be enough. Eternal unable to complete the final generator, and now Zaka in chase near the hook.
Yeah, knows Dan was likely on that gen and Zaki here near the hook. This is disastrous and could potentially lead to a 4K1 scenario. We'll see how Eternal deal with this. But very, very, very good timing on that Scorch hook there from Ward. Going to continue chase on, and Dan does commit that gen and gets it done, and the adrenaline onto Zaka. Going to deny that pressure just there. And the no-ed, as I forgot, is in play. So adrenaline is not going to matter. Gets the kill onto Zaka, and going to try and hunt down these last survivors to see if he can stop them from getting out. Knows where Kexo is. Probably smells where Dan is too. And yeah, it's going to get the down onto Kexo, and Dan is likely going to be on this gate. No, he's going to opt to stealth, but we'll see. We'll see if Ward can find him here, running on the edge map. And yeah,
if Dan's able to stealth here, no, yeah, he's not going to be able to do it. Then that is going to be a 4K with all generators completed for Ward. Very well played. He almost had that 4K1 there, but this is so much better than the other Dracula results we have seen up until now. Team Eternal, they are going to have to dig deep here for Nightlight to have to get a 4K1 here on this killer. You really can't get any closer than this, Zach.
Yeah, could we be... I'm not going to say anything. I'm not saying anything. I want this match to just play out. I want to see Severance with a good performance on the Survivor side, and we'll just see what happens. I'm not cursing anyone. I've cursed enough people today. But Ward, again, just showing that he is probably one of the strongest players currently we've seen, and just with the performances he's put in, and just how well he has performed for his team. Taking Eternal to Game 5, threatening the defeat as well after such a shaky start. But we will see what Severance can do in the return fixture after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Coal Tower for what will be the final trial of this Severance versus Eternal match. Nightlight on the Dracula, already starting chase onto Courtney here, and everything rides on Nightlight's shoulders right now. He must get a 4K1 to keep Eternal in this series and bring home the win. Courtney now pathing away from the Hellfire. Nice job so far on this jungle gym. He drops the pallet, but is going to hold W away from it. He does not have a filler here, but Nightlight's going to switch to the Wolf, charges the pounce. Actually, not yet. Courtney going to be holding W around this structure and eating an M1. Courtney recognizes that that double window tile is not the strongest. Nightlight now back into bat form. Goes over towards the main building, looking to try to find the window here, but Courtney only has a filler pallet. He's going to try to bait out the Hellfire, but it's not going to work. Instead, he just waves at the pallet. Going for maybe a pallet save here. Nightlight doesn't believe that there is somebody there, and he would be correct. First generator already done, though, for Severance. This is a pretty good start for them, Zach.
Yeah, we see a slightly different build coming out from Nightlight 2 with that leverage and Gift of Pain, trying to opt for the healing slowdown to apply pressure in a little bit of a different way. But isn't going to have that secured regression, only slowdown. And it's going to be a bit easier to manage because there is no real active perks to be used. It's just all pretty default, so that's going to help him out as this game goes on. And sees the Survivor there running for the unhook, wants to try and prevent it. And that is going to be Henu going for the save. Gets the double hit onto, and see if you can translate this into a quick down for onto Courtney. Goes into wolf form, and yeah, gets stuck on that crate there. Going to lead to a quick down. Not. Never mind. The decisive strike being used going to slow him down.
Courtney is exactly the survivor that Severance wants to be chased right now. He fakes the window there. Nightlight not going to fall for it, though. Also fakes the window again. Nightlight again doesn't fall for it. Gotta be a dead hard coming. Yeah, and Nightlight again does not fall for it. Courtney even tries to bait him with the wave, but Nightlight knows exactly what perks Courtney has, as another generator is going to be done in the distance. There's a little bit of a problem here for Severance, Zach. It's that Courtney, he might be the dead hard survivor, but he's also the for the people survivor, which means that nobody is going to be able to get him instantly healed off the hook, especially because Nightlight is running this leverage Gift of Pain build. As now Ward takes a hit from the Hellfire. Another gen done off in the distance. Now they're only down to 2. So definitely feeling the pressure here is Nightlight as he misses a Hellfire onto Ward. He still has this hook to play around though. The tunnel out onto Courtney is going to be his saving grace if he can get it. Something needs to be done here for Severance to avoid this tunnel out. And if Nightlight is allowed to play around this hook, he's just going to be able to hold Hellfire on Courtney and he won't make any distance at all.
Yeah, not ideal. Getting chased around the God Rock here is Potato. And 2 other injuries on the board. And because he is still in wolf form, he's not going to be able to get the Hellfire onto Courtney. So, as you said, but not going to be able to apply that pressure. As he continues chase, and Courtney needs the last here. As I say that, he goes down.
Yes, Courtney now dead, and that's going to be with 2 gens remaining as well. Nightlight, he needs to end this before the final generator gets completed. Courtney now going to be dead. 3 stages on 1 survivor for Nightlight. Every other survivor is injured right now, and Nightlight is able to block these windows by teleporting to them with that Lapis Lazuli add-on. Interrupts the heal between Potato and Ward, but Ward will be healthy. Potato not going to make that vault though, and he is going to go down here. This generator is significant progress, but now with a survivor hooked next to it, it's going to be tough for Severance to complete it. Main building generator is done, and actually that's going to be Ward hovering here. Nightlight misses the swing though. Big swing and a miss there, and Ward is going to be able to hold W away from that slug survivor here for now. Really good gen split for Severance here, but they do have a survivor dead. It's all going to be about not getting found here as Potato actually gets up with Unbreakable, and he's now back in chase at that jungle gym.
Yeah, time is of the essence here. They're gonna. Oh, a really nice fake out of the pallet there from Potato, and he's gonna need to buy as much time for the team to get the last gen on the go. But this isn't the safest area, and it's gonna lead to a quick down. We see them off in the distance there. Survivors resetting instead of getting that gen. There is no Gift of Pain there affecting the heal, so it is going to be just a normal heal there. And you're going to finish his heal off with the medkit. Our Potato's on the hook, so they might opt for 1 to rescue and try and distract the killer as much as possible, and then have Henu working on that gen. But Sprint Burst going to be used over to this hook. I don't think he's going to be able to get this save for free. Yeah, going to interrupt that, and Trade's going to go down onto Ward, and I would be surprised if he opts to slug here and go for Potato.
Yeah, Nightlight here, he's abandoning that strategy of holding Hellfire at the hook that he had before, but Potato makes the vault with the Lithe through that purple add-on that would have blocked the window here, and now he's kind of stuck at this pretty bad pallet. Oh, Nightlight! It's a very nice Hellfire at max range onto Potato, and now 2 survivors are slugged on the ground, and Henu, last man standing, he has to be careful here. Nightlight closing in, using the bat form. Is he going to be able to find this last survivor? Henu surely stealthing here. He's actually going to get found. This is really bad for Severance. Henu needs to get one of these pickups without going down. He's going to get hit on the vault there, probably making distance towards Ward. Okay, Ward now picked up at the 4 lane. He's not going to make it very far, though. Not even able to make it to the locker, as Henu now forced to go towards Potato. He's probably going to have time just to pick up Potato. Teleport coming in onto the main building window. Potato now picked up. These survivors have to split and last in chase to be able to get back into this game. Potato pulled out of the locker now. That's going to give Hanu a little bit of time to get back to Ward, but as these survivors continue to try to pick each other up, it's going to be less and less time that they have before the killer gets back. Teleport coming in onto the window, but just in time. Ward is going to be picked up, but he immediately goes down to the Hellfire. Nightlight is 1 down away from securing this for Eternal.
Yeah, and that's going to be it. That's going to be it. Prion. Really well played. Yeah, Nightlight just needs to put these survivors on the hook, and then that is the win for Eternal secured.
Nightlight in the clutch, like no other killer we have here. Consistent in these tiebreaker scenarios, bringing it home for Eternal, denying the reverse sweep. Incredible job by both teams today. I think fans of the underdog might be a little bit upset that Severance lost today, but both of these teams should be so proud of how they played. In the end, Ward just wasn't able to bring it home for his team. 4K0 versus a 4K1, and I mean, who better to see in this tiebreaker win scenario than Nightlight?
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't, we have to really have a round of applause for Severance this tournament because they fought their way through the losers bracket from the very beginning of the playoffs. So just an insane performance in general, this whole tournament. Of course, Eternal was going to be their biggest, I guess, obstacle as they were at the very start. Unfortunately, not able to take the victory this time. I believe that Nightlight is just waiting for Henu to reach the second stage. Probably smiles the deliverance onto Ward. And yeah, I have to give it to Severance. Despite not being able to take the win here today, it's a fantastic performance as a team, but Ward especially, playing in every single game as killer and survivor. Just absolutely carrying his team through this tournament, and just have to really give him credit. Just really, really good stuff. And yeah, gonna Mori to finish up in style. And congratulations to Eternal for taking this one, and they are going to go forward to battle Elysium in the losers final.
Yes, the perfect way to end this tiebreaker series here with an amazing performance from Nightlight. Team Eternal going to be moving on to the losers bracket final and the end of Severance's unicorn run here in the lower bracket.